Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles IMC, and this is your weekly sports card chart blast where we look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, is baseball firming up? Basketball's puking, and Tom Brady just keeps winning. Let's see what the charts have to say to us here. Mike Trout continues to trend down in a PS 810, but within this downtrend, we've got a little bit of a minor uptrend here. So again, rips are for selling while you're in a downtrend, but if we can break out, that is a good sign overall. We're coming up on the baseball silly season here, so a lot of these players are sitting at their support areas, and if they can just hang on for a few more weeks, may start to see a pop as buyers come in anticipation of spring training, etc. Bowman Chrome Draft, Mike Trout in the is this the PSA 8 to 10? That's a 10. It's a 10. Perfect 10 here. So uptrend is broken. However, it doesn't mean the end of the world. Sometimes you just change to a little gentler trend here, and that's what we are seeing right here, sitting near the bottom of the range. As the base card gets more attention, and it keeps its prices kind of high, people will turn their wallets towards a little cheaper version of that, and that's what you're seeing here. So risk reward sets up pretty favorably in the near term. If that breaks, then all bets are off. But for now, looks like buyers have stepped in this area, and see if we can do it again. All right, Vlad Guerrero in the Topps Chrome PSA 10. Continues to grind lower a little bit, but sitting at support where buying has come in the past here. So there's a lot of interest right here in the bottom of the range, and with this spike up, it was quickly rejected, saying, forget that. In this area in the past, it's been a decent area to buy and at least hold. But again, those prices are grinding slowly lower, and he is kind of priced for perfection at his young age here. But if he's able to do what he even remotely what he did last year, well, I'm not even going to say that because his expectations are pretty high. So he's going to have a pretty incredible season. So again, priced to perfection, but your risk reward does set up pretty favorably in the near term. Bryce Harper, uptrend, fake break below, and what we're seeing is a consolidation at this area. So focus on these lines here. This is a little bit of market indecision, and usually this is a continuation pattern. So is it continuing from the highs or from the lows? We shall see. But Bryce Harper with his MVP award, maybe we're going to get a little bit of a spike out of that or something in the near future. But the trend remains up, and this is a Hall of Famer on his current trajectory. So make sure you have a share of him if you are into the Hall of Fame type stuff and get them before their $1,000 card. Shohei Ohtani, your AL MVP, continues to grind lower. No one cares. So you had your compression and your breakdown, and now you're just continuing to grind lower, and you're really getting into an area of last support here. So if it can't hold on to these recent lows, there's a gap in here where there weren't a lot of people buying. You can see this thing fall down even further. So be careful on that one. We've had you out for a while, but if you are nibbling right here, then and you're looking to try and make some money, keep your risk tight on that one here. Freddie Freeman, Diamond Anniversary, trend remains up, getting pretty wild here, getting choppy on this one here. So getting near the top of the range, coming back off. Now you're kind of in the middle range. Not a whole lot to do, but if it does leak down just a little bit more, this is the raw version here. So if it does leak down a little bit further, then look for some buying to step in, and you probably have to be quick because there are probably not that many of them for sale. So those refractors are doing really well here. So as they usually are, they're more limited, and it's easier for the demand to overwhelm the supply. Bo Bichette, pink PSA 10 continues to grind lower near the bottom of the range. If you are patient, you wait for a breakout. If you don't care and you just want the card because it's like $100, then this is a decent enough spot. But again, it continues to make new lows. This was a decent spot, but this was a decent spot. This was a decent spot. So we keep coming up with interesting places to buy this card, but it just hasn't worked quite yet. It continues to grind lower, but your risk reward sets up for a trade at least in the near term favorably for now. So Blue Bob, also the Chrome and the base PSA 10. We had our breakdown and been out for a while with a target of about $50, and we're sitting there. So continues to grind lower on this one. I don't know how much cheaper it can get, but it can get cheaper. So we'll see. But this is perhaps a player that a lot of people will pay attention to going into the season as well. The way he played when he came back from injury last year was amazing. And so if he can keep that going here, then that'll take people by surprise and we'll get some lift off here. But the trend does remain down. So not a lot of signs of firming up either. You want to hang on to this area of support, and it couldn't. So we do continue to make kind of hang around in the low area yet. And, anytime you've trying to catch this falling knife, you got cut. So, all right, Rafi Devers, Topps Chrome, PSA 10, bottom of the range here. So, interesting risk-reward setup for the young third baseman. And this is a card that I like a lot. So yeah, it's at a decent spot, and the value on it. Well, next week, tune into my long-term third baseman video, and you'll see that yeah, maybe this is a player you want to be doing something with if you haven't already. Topps Chrome, Juan Soto, PSA 10. Bulls want to see these prices come up just a little bit and break out of this falling wedge here. So we had the uptrend broken. And this area, it was kind of the target, and now we're hopefully going to break out of that one. We'll see. Again, this will be a target of people going into next season. We'll see number 2 in the NL for MVP voting here. So he played very, very well and got recognized to an extent here. But you are at the top of the range in the near term here, so you want to see a breakout and hold before getting terribly aggressive with it. So this is either your last chance to sell or your last chance to buy. So we'll see for how that plays out in the near term. Risk reward again unfavorable for now, but I think longer term you would not be upset with owning this card at that price. So the Topps update, just the regular paper version here, sitting near the bottom of its range here, kind of that 125, 135 area is what we're looking at. It's 145 right now, off the bottom just a little bit here. So we'll see if it can get a little bit of lift off at some point here. But lots of buying in this area, and it could prove to be a good price someday. Fernando Tatis X-Fractor PSA 9. All right, grinding sideways here, and you're starting to see a little bit of buying pick up here. So people are looking for Tatis refractors and things of that nature, and maybe this is the spot. So this is good, and down below is bad. And right now, you're not looking for a lot out of it at the at the current time here. And these are the different Fernando Tatis refractors, and the negative and the prism have done really, really well. And you've seen the regular base refractor and the sepia refractor pull up the rear a little bit. So even if you go with the refractors and you try and do something, say, all right, these are more limited print runs, and I want to protect my investment or make some money, add a little juice to it or whatever. Even those are kind of a mixed bag at this point. And anecdotally, it's kind of interesting to see on the Topps website they've released their update hobby boxes, archive hobby boxes, blaster boxes, Stadium Club Chrome, and it's taking days to sell out. And this goes back to early 2019, 2018, where they weren't selling out right away. So we'll see what kind of demand baseball has, and maybe the silly season isn't going to be what it was. But again, we are seeing demand slow down, it seems like, for baseball cards, and even the more limited stuff is a bit of a wild card here. Ronald Acuna Chrome sitting at support. So nice. Someone was eager to buy in here, but it quickly came back into an area where enough people are buying. So this $150 price tag, was it 165 or something like that? Seems like that's the price for now. If it breaks below, then $100 or something like that. So, but for now, it's hanging in, and the momentum is still on a buy signal. Football, Tom Brady. Uptrend intact here, $24,000. So if you take out this one, we are this spike high, then we are sitting right at an area right around the all-time highs here. So we're getting really, really close. So he's held up well, and people are looking for the safety of the longer term goats on this one. So PSA 9, same thing. You're just barely off the highs at this point here, and that longer term trend does remain up. So people are looking for a little bit of safety in those sure things. Well, unless it's Peyton Manning, who's about as sure thing as you can get as well here. This is the raw version. It's dropping down to an area of support, so it's condition sensitive. But if you're able to get something in that area, it seems like a really, really great spot to pick one of those up. But again, it depends on condition. And then you have the PSA 9, which is breaking its kind of a sideways trend and continues to grind lower. Not a lot of buying in this area, so it may have to continue to grind lower. And interestingly enough, so this one's a little over $200. PSA 10 is going to be like $1,300 or something like that. So as much as we look at those relationships and say, well, geez, maybe the 9 needs to rise, in this situation, the 10 could really come down. I remember Lamar Jackson, kind of the same thing. He was sitting at $900, and the PSA 9 was sitting at like $150. It's like, wow, this thing's really, really cheap. Well, no, the 10 came way down. Lesson learned. And you could see the 10 follow suit on this one, as well as the 9 continues to travel its way lower. So as those come down, people aren't willing to pay as much for the 10s, and so it's how it goes there. The relationship will catch up at some point, so it's really about which direction. And unfortunately, I think those Peyton guards go down, and I don't know why. Patrick Mahomes sitting at pretty important support here long term as well. A lot of buying back in this area. When was that? 2020 or something like that. And then now you're here again, so you really want to see him hang on to this one. Well, unless you're looking to buy it, then you want him to break this, and then you'll probably see some choppiness down to $300 area or something like that. So, but for now, this is your support area and something to use as a marker to manage your risk. The silver version and PSA 10, same thing, hitting a support zone here, so you could see some lower prices here. So this is currently at 6,700 or whatever, so you can see something about the $5,000 area. But yeah, I imagine there's some buying that would probably step in there. So we'll see how that goes. But again, the trend is down for now. Ezekiel Elliott with a monster move this week. Doesn't look like much, but trust me, that was like 150% move or something. So this is kind of the buy zone, and it's compressing. So again, you want to wait for it to maybe cleanly break out. But for now, this is kind of where buying is stepped in, and maybe the spot again. Cooper Kupp, can't stop him on the field. Can't stop his card prices. So he is in an uptrend here, kind of in the middle-ish of the range. But there's some buying here, and these are kind of the one-offs where it's like, yeah, good luck, you're probably not getting that. So these prices are about as high as you've seen for a while here, and this is right around the all-time highs if you get rid of that spike high. But it looks like he may want to put in some new highs in the near future here. So the way he's playing, why not? Basketball, Michael Jordan continues to grind sideways. A lot of those big dogs. Look at the Trouts and the Griffeys and Jordans and Lemieux and Gretzky. They're all kind of doing the same thing. They break out, they retested, and now they're just traveling sideways. So very important for this to hold. If he goes down and starts becoming a $4,000 or $5,000 card, anybody that you're paying $4,000 or $5,000 for paying $4,000 or $5,000 now will is going to pay that anymore. It's like, well, I'll just buy the Jordan at that point. So you got to hang on to this area here. But the basketball market looks very, very sick. LeBron James continues to grind lower on a sell signal as well, coming in again to an area of important support. I'd like to see it come in and get some buyers stepping in here. If you are a LeBron bull, hoping you're very close to the bottom here, but we had this consolidation in this area, and it did break down. So I think you're getting likely close, but it still could be a couple $1,000s away, that potential bottom, and we'll wait for that downtrend to break before you really get excited about it. So Giannis, all right, here's kind of a problem here. You have this longer term compression, and starting to leak below that just a little bit. So this is kind of the same thing we pointed out in Luca a few weeks ago. He was breaking below, and it was just like just a tiny hint of this could be a problem, and it turned out to be a big problem. And you're looking for a couple $100 down, and that's what happened. And so Giannis could absolutely puke as well, and lose another grand or something, get cut in half again from here. So we'll have to monitor that one, but it could start to get a little bit choppy here on that one. So James Harden PSA 9 at the bottom of the kind of in the area where it's been snapped up in the past, and here it is again off on the one off that you probably had no shot. So the trend does remain down on this one here, and look for a little bit of pullback. But if you're looking for this card, you are likely close, at least in the near term. And here's Luca. So yeah, we had just the tiniest of sales below this compression. And said, that's a problem, and you've retested it, and now you continue to make new lows. And could this become a sub $400 card or something like that? Because you've got a pretty decent range here, and symmetry is going to kind of play itself out. So now you're sitting at 550, which is about as cheap as you've had for a while. So been on a sell signal for quite a long time. There was a shot to take a shot in here, but as soon as it breaks down, it's like, okay, that shot didn't work, and yeah, that's what happens. You get a puke. So Luca, now if you're looking for a cheaper version of that, we've got the base raw in the optic or rated rookie. And that's the trend. So look at the clusters, ignore the spikes, and so the trend remains down. But it looks like it's at least closer to the bottom of its range here. And I don't think $50 is, if you're in this hobby, it's not going to hurt you too much. You kind of know the drill on that one. Jason Tatum, potential bounce looking here, but again, you still have your similar compression and then the breakdown, and now you're the spike low, and the market wants to retest that price and see if it's valid or not. So we'll see if we can get some lift off on that one here. But again, the longer term trend is obviously down, but once these consolidations break, they tend to break hard, and that's what we're seeing on a lot of these names here. Trae Young, same thing, you had a compression and breakdown. So now you're in an area where you want to see him see some buyers step in, and we did see that here. So if more people are willing to, hopefully there's a lot of overhead supply. Anybody who's bought in here is now underwater, is kind of the problem. And so what you're hoping is that there's more buyers than sellers, but there's a lot of people that may be throwing in the towel on this one. So we'll watch how that goes. But this is a logical spot to start buying, and it's happening for now. And it's good until it isn't. And the Joker coming into his area of support and getting a little bit of a bounce as well. So uptrend broken, and honestly, we had this compression and said look for some much lower prices down in this area, and it held in for a while, and there was a quick one-off. So really, it's been kind of a sideways thing here, but this was a successful first test of support at least, and so we'll see if it can hang on. You probably have to drop down a little bit more to really have something of a durable bottom, but for now, sideways action. I think if you're patient, maybe a little bit better price in the near future. A little bit of hockey. Connor McDavid taking a little break as he made a run for his previous highs here, but now you're back here again, and the more times you test a level on the way down or on the way up, the greater the probability of it breaking is. And so as he continues to kind of bump up against this upper boundary here, and you could see a breakout and some new highs. The hockey market is a relative outperformer. Louis Lemieux PSA is at the 6 or something like that. So the Opeachy, a little harder to find here. So the trend remains down, coming off the bottom of the range with quick sale down at the bottom of the range here. So now you're in an area where there's been plenty of buying in the past, and so you can wait for a little bit of a pullback. But if that's a card you're looking for, you don't see too many sales down here as of late. It's a quick move. Jack Hughes. We've got the monster move. You leave it alone, and then you break out, and you can kind of go for it. Look for it to come into an area around your highs or whatever. And so we can start to get one off. This is pretty choppy stuff here. Okay, now you're back at the bottom at support here. So if you're looking for this particular card, your risk reward sets up pretty decently here. I think especially in this $200 area where it was resistance and now support. Maybe even better if this breaks, but you will see. Right now, you can see some buyers just step in right now and run with it. The great one in a PSA 7, grinding sideways. So again, a lot of these breakout retests, and so it's a lot of sideways action here. A lot of those greats. That's just how it's going. Oh, and one of the greatest. He's just going to start putting in some new highs here. So he's getting very close to those new highs. Those wrestling cards have been holding up pretty well as well. Very straight from the Department of Redundancy department. So wrap it up here with Charizard in the Hollow PSA 9. A lot of compression here, so a lot of buying in this area as the market wants to figure out what it's going to do. Very important. If this breaks out, that is a good sign. If it breaks down, that is a bad sign. And you could start to see prices you have not seen for a long while. So that's what I got for you. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye.